Alright people, this is Brad the Lad back again with another video, and today I'm going to try and predict your club's next Premier League manager. You might think I'm copying HITC Sport maybe, but I just thought I'd do this for a bit of fun. Okay, so let's start off with Arsenal. I think the next Arsenal manager will be Massimo Allegri. The ex-Juventus manager has been very successful in his career in terms of league titles, and he's also reached the Champions League final. Never really managed to win it though, but it could be the right move for Arsenal. They would need to give him lots and lots of backing, of course, and they couldn't really rely on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who is at the age of 31. So on the long term, Arsenal will need some young world-class players in their team to be able to make them a successful club once again. And I think Allegri could be that guy who could stabilise that Arsenal defence. Of course, things are not going too well for Mikel Arteta. He has actually been linked to the job once or twice, but I do think that he would be a very, very good fit for the Gunners. The next team is Aston Villa, and I think their next manager will be Rafa Benitez. Yes, Rafa Benitez. Villa fans might not like me saying this too much. I don't know what your opinions are on this, but Rafa Benitez has won every single European Cup club competition there is going. He's won the Champions League, he's won the Europa League. He is a successful manager, and of course he did play a lot of negative football when he was at Newcastle. That was because he didn't have the players to get where he wanted Newcastle to be. He was in a very, very difficult situation. Now, Aston Villa, he has the resources, and Villa is a club who would want to be competing for Europe once again, like they were back in the old days under Martin O'Neill. And Villa are a massive club, and I think Rafa Benitez would suit the club. And maybe he could get the best out of Jack Grealish, for example, and he could bring his own players in, and he could, make Villa have a bright future in terms of their development and in terms of their league position, and it could be one of the top teams of English football once again. The next team is Brighton and Hove Albion, and I think their next manager is going to be Steve Cooper. Who is Steve Cooper? Well, Steve Cooper is the current Swansea City head coach. He has managed the England under-17s and won the England 17s the World Cup. And also, he went to Swansea like Graham Potter did when he was managing in Sweden, when he got Östersunds to the Europa League. And now he is the Brighton manager. Again, I could see Steve Cooper being, a young experiment brought into Brighton and bringing in his own players, producing his own players. Looking at players like Tariq Lamptey, who's been fantastic. Brighton could invest in players like Tariq Lamptey, like when they brought him in from Chelsea. They could make a very, very exciting young team for the next generation of football. The next team is Burnley, and I think their next manager will be Nigel Pearson. I do think Sean Dyche will leave Burnley eventually, and I don't think Burnley fans could really have a go at him for leaving after all the work he's done for that football club. He deserves to move to somewhere bigger and better. No disrespect, Burnley fans. But, yeah, I do think their replacement will be Nigel Pearson. He's got a very, very good managerial record in the Premier League. He's never been relegated. Possibly people might say, oh yeah, but he practically got Watford relegated. But not officially though. He was sacked 2 games before that. And maybe they could have stayed up if they stuck with him. However, Burnley's the sort of club for him. Burnley don't really play easy on the eye. They do like to press and make things really uncomfortable. And Nigel Pearson is that kind of guy who has that aggression and wants that out of his team, and I think he will be very, very successful at Burnley. He could be the next long-term thing for the Clarets. So yeah, I think Nigel Pearson will be the next manager of Burnley. The next manager of Chelsea, I think, will be Thomas Tuchel, the current PSG manager. He got to the Champions League final last season. He always seems to manage to win the league, and he works with world-class players. Of course, it might seem a bit unlikely that Frank Lampard will leave the club, only if Chelsea really, really falter badly. But I think he will be an ideal next coach for the football club. Chelsea have a lot of good players. He can work with the young players and make them absolute superstars. He has that potential and an experience of working with the big players and getting quite far in the Champions League. Maybe they could even do it this year. Who knows? But I think Thomas Tuchel will be the next manager of Chelsea. Next, it's Crystal Palace, and I think Eddie Howe will be their next manager. Crystal Palace is the perfect club for Eddie Howe in his next managerial job. I think, with the players that they've got, it's a small ground, like he did at Bournemouth. That might seem quite irrelevant, but it is a factor. The players that are there, Zaha, Eze, Batshuayi, I know he's there on loan, Benteke, Schlupp, they've got lots of powerful, pacey players who are dying to play attractive, exciting football like Eddie Howe used to do at Bournemouth. And I think he will be an absolutely fantastic appointment and could get Palace to the next level. I understand he's got Bournemouth relegated as well before, and that could be a concern. But look at the facts, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got the Man United job. So anything's possible. It doesn't mean that they're definitely going to relegate you that next time. But yeah, I understand why people might be concerned about it. But yeah, I think that Eddie Howe will be the perfect new manager for Crystal Palace when Roy Hodgson departs. It could even be next season. The next club is Everton, and I think their next manager will be Julian Nagelsmann. Now, the Red Bull Leipzig coach managed to get them into the Champions League. All Man United had to do was avoid defeat, and they couldn't even do that. But credit to Leipzig, they're a club, they're a very, very young club. By the way, they were founded in 2014 and are a huge success story. And I think he would get a job. And Everton, you could kind of compare them to them in a way. Although Everton historically are a massive club and they are successful. And I think Nagelsmann would be a very, very good appointment working with players. And it will be very, very exciting for him to bring his football to Goodison Park. I'm not too sure whether he'll still be working with players like Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Tom Davies, but he will bring his own players in, which will make things very, very exciting and very kind of different as well. And I just think it would bring a new brand to Everton and it would make them one of those top teams again. The next team is Fulham, and I think their manager next will be Claude Puel. Well, this one was quite a difficult one, but I think Claude Puel is a very calm guy, He's more likely to bring stability to the club, Like he was at Leicester City, he was very, very mediocre, didn't really bring anything exciting to the table, and he was never in any real danger. A bit like how he was at Southampton. It just isn't the same. But I think he would stabilise the club, and I think he would be good for Fulham to keep them in the Premier League on a long-term basis. Fulham fans might disagree with me on that, but I do think he has the qualities to manage a club like Fulham. The next club is Leeds United, and the manager I've gone with is Ernesto Valverde, the ex-Barcelona manager. Now, Leeds have appointed Marcelo Bielsa, and I think the owners would go big. They would go ambitious, and they would push to bring in a manager of his quality who is managing the Champions League and maybe could take them to that next level. I keep saying next level about certain clubs, but Leeds United are a massive club based on their history. So why not? Why not let him be the next success story? I mean, I think it could be quite a reasonable, ambitious appointment. Who knows? The next club is Leicester City, and I think their manager next, this might sound a bit of a surprise, I'm going to go for Ralph Hasenhüttl. Yep, you named it. The team Leicester City beat his Southampton team 9-0. But he is a very, very good coach. I think maybe, in a way, this might sound... I mean, maybe the result was a bit of a piss take. But I do think maybe that 9-0 was good for the club. Maybe. Maybe. That's all I'm saying. Because when you look at how well he's done, Southampton are third in the league, and he's getting the best of the players like Danny Ings, Theo Walcott. I know he's only on loan, but still, they've got a very, very good team. And, even with Danny Ings isn't playing, it doesn't affect them at all. It is really, really superb. And I really did think, when Hasenhüttl first came to Southampton, I heard that he was used to be the manager of Red Bull Leipzig and he nearly won the league there. I thought, he's going to be the guy to get Southampton back to where they were under Ronald Koeman. And I was thinking that for a couple of years. I thought, could it, might it not work out? But it really, really is. He is a very, very talented manager. And I think he could take on a club like Leicester. That could be the next step up for him. So I'm going to say Hasenhüttl to manage Leicester City. I don't think he would lose 9-0, by the way. That isn't an inevitable thing. The next club is Liverpool, and I think this is one of the most easy ones to predict. I'm going to say Liverpool's next manager is Steven Gerrard. The Rangers manager finds himself comfortably at the top of the Scottish Premiership. His club are doing really, really well. He's won the Champions League. It's not just that. He is an absolute legend. Spent his whole career there. He will be loved and adored. And I think he will be pretty much unsackable as the manager of Liverpool. And I think he's worked with players. He's played against some of the players that Liverpool currently have. And I think he would be... I don't know whether he would be successful or not because of his lack of experience. But I think the Premier League would be it would be a whole new kettle of fish for him. So it would be a very, very big test. Manchester City's next manager, I'm going to go with Hans-Dieter Flick, the Bayern Munich coach. Yeah, he has won the Champions League. He won it with the club last year. Although Pep Guardiola has too. But if Pep Guardiola does leave Manchester City, I think he would be the ideal replacement. Yeah, Guardiola came from Bayern. And yeah, maybe he could, with Man City's finances and the way Man City usually play and how big of a club that they are, why not? He's a young coach. He could bring that identity that he had at Bayern Munich and transform the club and make them that dominant club that everyone in the world is expecting them to be. So yeah, I think he would be an ideal replacement. For Manchester United, their next manager, I think, will be Maurizio Pochettino. Pochettino plays the way that Man United fans are craving for. Yes, of course, they do play a lot better under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but the performances haven't been great despite the results. They have to go behind first to turn the result around and win the game, which is a very, very worrying factor. And they get a lot of refereeing decisions which go their way, which also helps the club out. But Pochettino, yeah, he never won anything at Spurs, but he did get them to a Champions League final. And he's the manager everybody's considering for him to take over at Old Trafford. And, could he bring the best out of world-class players? Of course, people might say Harry Kane is world-class. I think he is. I think he has got the capabilities, but still no trophies. But when he's working with players like Cavani and Marcus Rashford, he has won trophies. He's managed to win the FA Cup, he's won the Europa League, he's won a League Cup. And, if he brings in his own players as well, Manchester United will have to back into the hills, I have to say that. they need to stop buying 30-year-old players. That is something that a club like Stoke City would do. You know, a player way past his sell-by date, you know, and you just think, why are they bringing in, you know, some of these players might be world-class, but why not bring them in earlier? Because Manchester United are not Stoke City, no disrespect Stoke City, or Burnley, for example. So yeah, you know, United have to back into the hills and bring in some world-class promising players who can win trophies. Newcastle United's next manager for me is going to be Sean Dyche. I think maybe, I don't know whether he will be sacked by Burnley, probably not, but I think he would leave Burnley to join Newcastle if things go wrong for Steve Bruce. Again, I mean, under Rafa Benitez, didn't play exciting football. Same happens under Steve Bruce, although he does get results. Sean Dyche is the kind of manager who can get results. He's taken Burnley to Europe, and I think that's what Newcastle fans kind of want. It was 8 years ago when Newcastle United actually got into Europe. That was before Sean Dyche even took over Burnley. And I think he could, you know, possibly take them to that level where they want to be. So yeah, I think Sean Dyche will be the next manager of Newcastle United. Sheffield United, I think their next manager will be Sam Allardyce. Yeah, it could be this week or next week. Excuse me. Who knows? But however, Sam Allardyce is a very good manager at getting clubs out of trouble. Could he do that with Sheffield United? Probably. Maybe he could. Sheffield United did really, really well under Chris Wilder last season. I feel sorry for Chris Wilder because, you know, he is a very, very good manager. He really is. And he deserves a whole lot better. And I'm sure he's trying everything possible. Just turn off this fan. And, you know, it is such a tough situation for him. It seems impossible for them to get out of the position that they're currently in. Today they lost 3-0 to Southampton. They take on Manchester United on Thursday. Sheffield United fans must be thinking, can we just be relegated and get a move on now? Because nothing's changing. And I think, you know, looking at clubs like West Brom and Sheffield United, they look pretty much doomed at the moment. So yes, I do think that Sam Allardyce will be the next Sheffield United manager to see if he could provide a miracle and keep the Blades in the Premier League. The next club is Southampton, and this is a weird one. I'm going to go for Brendan Rodgers. Yep, the ex-Liverpool and the current Leicester City manager to be the next leader at Southampton. I think this is a sort of club he will go to help make them successful if Hasenhüttl ever left. You know, things might not pan out so well for Brendan Rodgers at Leicester, but he has done very, very well. He almost won the league with Liverpool. He's got Leicester almost into the Champions League. Yeah, you could say, oh yeah, it's almost, but Southampton isn't a club that expects those sort of things, you know, and I think Brendan Rodgers can get the best out of players. He's worked with players like Danny Ings, for example. So, yeah, who knows? But I think Brendan Rodgers could be a very, very good manager for Southampton and could keep building the club for a long-term future, like Hasenhüttl did. But, you know, if Hasenhüttl ever leaves Southampton, he could be an ideal replacement. Right, the next one is Tottenham. And I think their next manager is going to be Pep Guardiola. Now, this is a weird one. I think Daniel Levy is a sort of guy who has the guts to replace Jose Mourinho with his arch nemesis, Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola, yeah, things haven't been so great for them last season and this season, it seems. I don't think they're going to be winning the league this year. But Guardiola knows how to win. He has won every single trophy possible in his career. He is a fantastic manager, world class, and I think, you know, he would Again, I think players like Harry Kane and Heung-min Son could work under Pep Guardiola. I think, they have the stadium, he has the finances, he can work at big clubs, he can work miracles, and as long as he gets that backing, he can be massively successful. The next team is West Bromwich Albion, and I think their next manager will be Derek McInnes. Derek McInnes is a former West Brom player. He's also played for St Johnstone, and he is the current manager of Aberdeen. Yeah, of course, he doesn't have a lot of managerial experience in the Premier League. He's a bit like Sean Dyche in many ways, is Derek McInnes. He's been at Aberdeen for so long. I think it was 2013 when he was appointed to take charge of the Scottish club. But I think he would be an ideal replacement at the Hawthorns for Slaven Bilic. Will he keep his loyalties to Aberdeen? Will he want to keep finishing third behind Celtic and Rangers? I don't think so. So yeah, I think it will be a new, fresh challenge for him, and I think he will eventually leave Aberdeen, and I think he could come to the Premier League to manage his former club. The next team is West Ham United, and I'm going to say Unai Emery will be the next manager of the Hammers. Now, West Ham have gone ambitious before with Manuel Pellegrini. It didn't work out. The ex-Arsenal coach might bring his good evenings back to English football, but I think West Ham is a sort of club that would go for him. If they want to progress, they moved into that London stadium because they wanted to play European football and get into the Champions League. I don't know whether he could do that, but Unai Emery has won three Europa Leagues in a row. So could he do that? Could he be the man to mould West Ham into a successful European team? I mean, hats off to David Moyes. He's doing incredibly well. But if David Moyes ever leaves West Ham, he is an ideal replacement. I think West Ham will go for him. And last, but certainly not least, Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think their next manager will be Leonardo Jardim. The current... Oh, he's not the Monaco manager any longer, is he? The ex-Monaco manager won the league in 2017 and knocked out Pep Guardiola's Manchester City in the 2017 Champions League. He's a Portuguese manager. That's a clue for you. And he's worked... And he got the best out of Mbappe before he went to PSG. He built such a successful team, and I think Wolves would be that club to come in and appoint him. That's it, guys. That is my managerial predictions for the future for every single current Premier League club. Give me your thoughts in the comments below, and I shall see you all soon.